that you went away.
Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Andra. I make commentary videos on pop culture and media. And today we are talking about Ethan Klein again. It seems like Ethan and his wife Ila are finally getting what they deserve, which is criticisms, harsh ones, because of the unacceptable behavior of Ethan in the past few days. This is something I've been saying for months, and I got hate for saying it, that the guy is not a good person. First off, before we get into the subject of the video, which is homophobia, I want to mention that in the past days there have been attacks on the Palestinian people by the Israeli Defense Force in Al-Aqsa, which is that big mosque. You would have seen it before. It's like a big compound where there are important places for every religion, to be honest. There is like an important Jewish spot there. That is the Wailing Wall, I think is what it's called, which is like the wall surrounding the Al-Aqsa compound. So there have been attacks on people who are just there praying during Ramadan, doing nothing wrong, and including children, which is just dreadful. And I wanted to mention that at the beginning of this video because we have this couple, H3H3. Ila was serving in the IDF, which is mandatory, which is not what I have a problem with. Like I said before, my issue is with the fact that she still giggles about it and supports them, and she's not expressed the fact that she, is no longer aligned with them or something like that, which leads me to believe that she supports what is going on right now. And by extension, her husband also does. They got married in Israel on stolen land, basically. It's their prerogative to get married in Israel, but if you don't condone what the government is doing, then I think I'm led to believe that you support it. So, without further ado, we'll talk about the issue at hand. I just want to make this a parenthesis because I think it's important that people know. Because the news are being drowned out by news with Ukraine, which is obviously important. I'm not dismissing that. I have talked about that before. However, it's not the only thing that is important. And I think we are led to talk about this only one thing because there are interests of the Western media. The West aligns with Ukraine on this, whereas the West is aligned with Israel, so they're trying to hide what Israel is doing that is wrong because they're friends, they're allies. H3H3 has been caught being homophobic, which is not something that you should be surprised by, to be honest. The thing is, the person that was the receiver of such homophobia was James Charles. So some people did not say a thing because obviously James Charles is hated. Obviously he is a predator by his actions in the past, which we don't know if they are still happening or not. He's not a good person. He's not a good person, so people think that the criticisms are warranted. However, homophobia doesn't only affect James Charles, and the comments that are made against James Charles to do with his sexuality are comments that are being made against gay men all over the world. So there are stereotypes that we should stop spreading, and by referring to James Charles in such ways, it is definitely reinforcing and spreading the stereotype. So this is something that I have seen that is part of his podcast. I have not watched the whole episode, but I've seen other channels commenting on it. I just can't stand watching him, to be honest. Like, I'm not going to put myself through that torture. But I have seen a video which is like a short compilation, so we're gonna watch that.
He has some anal leaking. Now, we were saying, well, if he's getting blasted in the ass hard enough, potentially, you may need to wear a diaper. And a lot of you will say, like, okay, we've had a debate, like, I don't think vaginas increase in size from sex, but assholes actually do. If you have a lot of anal sex, you can actually blast open your anus. Frequent anal sex can result in a blasted open asshole. Maybe he's just got railed real hard the night before.
So this thing is what was started by the fact that James Charles, by mistake, I assume, in a video left a screenshot of, I think it was his Amazon account, and under the buy again there were diapers. Now, obviously, there can be medical issues. I don't know how to say it, like, in a more, like, respectful way. There can be medical issues with that. They're not reserved to gay men, because straight couples are doing this as well. Like, it's not specific to gay men. And there are things that you can do to take care of yourself that it doesn't, like, happen. So it's really stupid to assume that this is an issue. People are saying that James Charles maybe did, like, a BBL, and apparently for a BBL to heal properly so you don't feel the pain when you sit down and stuff, you need to wear diapers. during the recovery process, which would make sense. We never know what can be wrong. It could be medical problems, doesn't have to be something to do with the fact that he's gay. And I'm gonna mention now, I am part of the community as well, I'm bisexual, so I think that I have a right to be offended, although not as much as gay men, because this is who this attack is against, obviously. But I do have a right to feel just outraged by the misconceptions about us as a community overall that are still permeating today's society, even by a guy who claims that he's on the left, like Ethan. He's not on the left. He's lying to you.
He's a power bottom.
No, that would.
That's an option. Power bottom.
So wouldn't that mean that the diapers aren't for him though?
No, if he's on the bottom, he's getting railed. That he's an enthusiastic receiver. Oh my god.
So he's gay.
Power bottom is a guy who
fair.
likes to wildly ride the peg of another dude.
What are you saying that?
Jesus. Power bottom is a guy who likes to wildly ride the peg of another dude while he jacks you off until both have bone orgasms. Yeah.
Get down to the power bottom of things here on the H3 podcast. I love you guys so much, but y'all really need some LGBTQT.
Why?
So the power bottom thing, I think, if more than anything, it's a joke in the community. Obviously, some people will like seriously say it, but I think it's meant to be kind of a joke from what I've seen myself being part of the community. It's not for straight people to say it, and also like you don't define a person by what they like to do in bed. It's weird as fuck to just like reduce somebody's personhood based on this. And look at the fucking like this guy Dan. He's saying about the LGBTQT community. What is the LGBTQT community? I've only heard of the LGBTQ plus community. I've not heard of whatever the fuck this is. Like, you claim that you are an ally, but you can't put the letters in the correct order.
Hey, what did I,
Shut up.
what did I say wrong?
Shut up.
Colin, if you have a problem with my character,
You got it right. I mean, you
I
literally
knew
got it
exactly what
right.
a power bottom was.
Yeah. Shut up. You don't know anything about our sexuality anyways. The fuck do you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
How dare you assume
Assuming.
that none of us are
You don't know shit.
LGBTQ plus? How dare you assume that?
I'm assuming that none of you are gay because, first of all, you talk shit. Secondly, you can't even say the letters of the name of the community in the correct order. So you're definitely not part of the community. And just to tell people to shut up when they have warranted criticisms is disgusting and sick.
Okay, we have a call about the top bottom stereotype. Hey Matt.
Oh,
So Matt,
wow.
what have I
That's
got wrong?
excellent, sir. I know often you feel inclined to describe someone where you think they might be a bottom. And I think that that's often a misconception, that like bottoms may be passive or the
Well, I just mean
more
that he likes.
passive partner.
I just mean that he likes to take it up the butt.
But how can you know that about someone?
Well, that was just
by
a theory about because he wears diapers. It's just a theory.
No, there have been times. I think one that comes to mind was maybe Jordan Peterson that you described as probably being someone that would be a bottom. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. But like I've heard you at times maybe say like, oh, this is someone that might be a bottom. You can't always tell like who's the top, who's the bottom.
So do you
Like,
find it
it's not
offensive
something
if I say by being like, oh, he's probably a bottom? Is that the problem? To make
absolutely.
it's offensive.
Because the gay men already you have to deal with certain assumptions about femininity and masculinity.
I mean, it is
Term.
funny
You're an
though.
ally.
I
You're
don't
an
know.
ally.
I think the problem is that the term power bottom is very funny to me. Sometimes, these alpha men give power bottom vibes. I think maybe the joke is the dichotomy of like their persona of ultra masculinity, but then like the joke being that they're a power bottom.
I think the ascription of like throwing out that someone is just a bottom, like because it just ascribing certain roles to people. That's all I'm asking for is just be a little more conscious of it.
So would you consider yourself a top or a bottom, or you don't do that the labels?
And I mean this with all peace and love and with respect, Ethan. It's none of your business.
But you
How
have a
is it?
preference one way or the other.
But that's another dangerous assumption too.
Can
because
I
a lot of
guess?
gay men don't.
You tell me if it's right. If I guess right.
No.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna get into it, Matt. But we all know which one you prefer. It's
But
more.
as long as you understand where I'm coming from on this.
To be honest, I don't really.
It's the saying that, you can tell how someone is, how someone likes sex based on what they look like and stuff like that, it's a very big misconception. And the fact that this person is trying to educate him in like good faith, and he makes fun of the fact that his voice is high pitched and like the way he talks makes him sound like a bottom. Like, no, it doesn't. I mean, you can, like, if you go by stereotypes, yeah, sure, but there are some like men who are really, really masculine that you would never think that they're gay if you take it based on like stereotypes, but they are. The thing is, if you define someone solely by like what they like in bed, then you get offended when people say that Ela has like no personality, so she must be like just lying there like a corpse in bed, because she's the deadest person in the world. Like, she's the blandest person that I've ever seen on YouTube, and I legit don't know why she has fans, because she's so boring. Like, she has no personality.
Okay,
To be
what
on
do
the
you
bottom
think
is
a
to
power
give.
bottom
It's
is?
to give. You know, it's a gracious thing to give and to receive like that.
Power bottom is a bottom who is just the more active bottom.
Oh, okay, I see. So they'll
do you
ride it.
think?
They can ride. A power bottom will ride it, where a regular bottom will
And they'll
just
be-
kind of lay there. So the power bottom is someone who rides enthusiastically. You don't need diapers
I'm
or
also-
anything, right? But like, if you are a regular receiver of anal sex, and I'm not saying you are, I don't know. But if you were, does the poop pass like any differently from before? Is it all normal functions? Like, I get it doesn't leak out, but I wonder if it just comes out a little different. If you're on the bottom,
really
it doesn't
know.
mean you're like a beta. You could be alpha and also still be on the bottom. Especially if you're a power
Right,
bottom,
but
because you
just-
ride
but-
that.
but-
Like,
it's about
theoretically,
you.
Jordan Peterson, if he was a power bottom, he could still be alpha because he rides it with gusto.
You'd
and
ride it
grace.
in a vengeful way. So yes, I think that'd be alpha. Yeah.
People are saying I'm Bruno of the gay community. I think we need an alpha bottom. I think we need more distinctions. We need alpha bottom and beta bottoms. More distinctions. So who is gay?
Doesn't that make you gay?
Does it make you gay?
Again, he's mocking this person for seeming more feminine and asking stuff like if it affects you medically, if you do the deed that way, which is like, again, you can ask straight people about that as well. Like, imagine you just walk around and ask a straight person what's their favorite position. Like, the other person would say it's disrespectful. Imagine if you ask like a straight woman straight away that without having like any romantic interest in her. You just ask her that. Like, the woman has the right to be outraged. Because this is abhorrent behavior, like, legit.
Apologies to whatever his name was. Apparently, I was homophobic to him. But whatever. What can you do? People say it was gross and disappointing. Saying you can guess if Matt is a power bottom by his voice is so gross. But I was right. That was the point. Wasn't I? He admitted.
Yeah, of course you were right. And honestly,
Apparently I was homophobic to him, but whatever, what can you do? Not apparently, you were homophobic. If you said you were, then you were. And what can you do? You can not be homophobic, you know, it's not like the most difficult thing in the world, man. I don't get his behavior. I literally don't get his behavior, like... And the attitudes of the crew, they're like, he's like yes man, and it feels like a frat boy society kind of vibes. They will, of course, do the same things that he does and say the same thing that he says because they are on his payroll. So they have to agree with him. How would you want this life to be like such like an echo chamber for you? Remembering that last time there were disagreements between him and the crew. I think it had to do with the Will Smith situation. There were disagreements and he just like shut them down. And he's acting like, because it's his show only, and they are just crew, that they are inferior. So of course they have to do these things and to like act in approval of him all the time. They are not free to say what they want. This guy Dan seems very enthusiastic about saying horrible things, but as far as the other crew goes, I would say that they are pressured into saying such things or just being quiet.
just so over these fucking people. Shut the fuck up! Shut up! It's a
funny.
fucking entertaining show. Shut the fuck up.
Someone says, I don't know what's up.
So disappointing.
Someone said, I
Grow
don't-
up. Jesus fucking Christ.
Dan.
I'm so over these fucking people. Who are these people? The gays? These people. So we're like different humans than you?
I don't know what's up with Ethan today, but something's off. Bad vibes this episode.
Shut the fuck up. Unsubscribe. Go away. Jesus. Christ.
Someone said, it sometimes feels like Ethan thinks LGBTQ plus people are exotic or something. It's super uncomfy.
How this motherfucker is saying to shut up and unsubscribe, it's like they lost like 10k subscribers when this happened. I don't know how many they lost now. But yeah, they lost subs, so it's like you tell them to unsubscribe and then you cry if they unsubscribe. And it's like, basically, this guy is part of the crew. It's not his show. It feels like you're in a house of someone else, like as a guest, and another guest comes in and you tell the second guest to go away, even though it's not your home. You have no right. This is how this whole thing feels like.
Yeah, I think y'all need to fucking... Do you think it's hard for a straight person to understand how it feels to always have people define you by how you prefer sex? Is that a valid criticism?
No, I'm so fucking frustrated with these people.
Get the fuck out!
So wait,
Shut the
what was
fuck
I?
up.
Where did I even? Do you think some of y'all are way too fucking sensitive
No.
for the show? To be totally honest, like people in this thread who are saying they're grossed out and whatever. I think you're really. I think this with peace and love, you might be too sensitive to watch this show. If you're watching this show and you're perpetually offended by things I'm saying, you may want to just stop watching. Like genuinely, like does get annoying with some of y'all getting offended all the time.
If you think that people are too sensitive for the show, then you have to stop LARPing as a fucking leftist. Stop trying to cancel everyone like you are on the higher moral ground, because you ain't fucking shit. And also, it is a valid criticism. Because I don't like the fact that this is called a sexual orientation, because I don't think it's solely sexual. Like, I like the introduction of like romantic orientations to our like linguistic repertoire. I like that this is a thing now, because I am bisexual, biromantic, which is nice to have like the differentiation, because obviously who you're attracted to is about more than sex. It's about intellectual attraction, it's about romantic attraction, it's about who you like to spend time with, even platonically. So it's deeper than just like sex. Some people are obviously, let's say, I don't know, bi-romantic but asexual. So there is a nuance to that. It's like not everybody cares about sex.
Come on, you talking about power bottoms is like me asking Ela if she likes it in the front or back. Does she ride your cock or like you pounding her? Respect, Matt. Not cool, dude.
See, and he's crying about his fucking wife all the time when she gets disrespected. When Keemstar said that she looks like a horse, he was crying about it, but he will like define people sexually and disrespect people constantly. He thinks he's the better person, but he's like literally such a shitty person. Now we're gonna watch this clip.
Nigger faggot whore. It's just a wonderful string of words that really gets you going. Fuck you, nigger faggot. I love that I can just say nigger faggot, though. I love saying nigger faggot. How did this become a thing in Western culture where all these grown men and little girls are jerking off to little K-pop boys? It's like a little twink gay fetish about these K-pop boys. Let's see, I've used the gay word derogatorily.
A couple times.
Yeah, I think this goes without saying that Ethan has had pattern of homophobia alongside racism and like other things. So now we're gonna see the podcast that he did after that, in which he's like saying his apology, which is not really an apology. The title is "I got cancelled again." So he thinks it's funny. Doesn't regret it. We're just gonna watch the segment with this because I'm not watching 2.5 hours of this shit.
Last episode, people got really angry at, let's say I made a joke that James Charles was wearing a diaper because he's a bottom. That, I guess, made people angry, and then a caller called in to explain why that whole thing is offensive. And I made insensitive remarks and jokes to him. Oh God, my name is trending. I told you it happened. Oh, it's Moon Knight. That's good.
Wait,
Well,
what?
because Ethan Hawke's in Moon Knight.
Yeah, I thought it was you too. It's not you.
Well, I see
But
Ethan Hawke, and then I
keep
see
seeing you
me.
in there though.
Yeah, there's too many famous Ethans nowadays. I can't even own my own cancellation.
Damn it, Mr. Hawk.
So, by the way, that's a pretty good show. I watched it last night. Pretty good.
Moon
Haven't had a
Knight?
chance yet.
Yeah.
You know, like I've said on the show, I've been kind of off the Marvel thing for a while, but I have to admit the trailer for it looked interesting.
It's fun.
I like Oscar Isaac. He's
and Ethan
great
Hawke is awesome too.
Yeah, sure.
Ethan, please stand
We've been
up.
watching Atlanta. That show's amazing.
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't watched it.
slept on
I've heard it's good.
It's really good. Yeah.
I'm putting off the inevitable here. So here's the thing, like, I'll be honest, when I talked to the caller, I don't know why, I just couldn't really, I don't know why, I just couldn't really understand, but after the episode ended, I talked to some people that I trust their opinion, who have good inputs about this stuff. And they explained to me kind of what I said was offensive, and or they explained it to me in a way that I understood, and kind of what I said wasn't appropriate and all this. And you know, they explained to me that I should probably apologize, and explained why. And I thought that, you know, I understood. So this is my heartfelt apology, which I'll read to you now. After consulting with people I trust, who I value their judgment. To my LGBTQ plus fans, I am very sorry for comments on today's show. The sexualization of gay men and grouping of tops and bottoms is a stereotype that I'll be trying to unlearn. And apologies to the caller, too, who I shouldn't have pressed inappropriately. I hope you guys know I always mean well. So that's my apology. Some people accept it, some people don't. That's fine. Keemstar, of course, has my number. Keemstar, a great ally to the LGBTQ+.
Absolutely.
You know, this man is always been on the right side of things. So Keemstar is addressing his one LGBTQ fan. He says, to my LGBTQ plus fans, he's not sorry, just sorry he got caught. Bro, I'm on a live show. What do you mean I got caught?
Gotcha.
I'm on my own live show.
Gotcha.
It wasn't like a hot mic moment. I'm here.
Right.
I have been caught in 4K.
Keemstar, who... Oh, is this a new one? I haven't seen this. Ethan Klein has lost his mind. Have you guys seen his comments on gay sex? Just watched this T channel for the clips. Oh, he's denying that he watches the show?
He watched the show.
Come on, bro.
We know.
I, Keemstar, you know the bad guy, would never say anything this horrible. I was legitimately offended, and I'm not even gay. For everybody asking for the clips, I don't even know if I should tweet it. It's that bad. He was just like questioning this guy if he was a top or bottom, and the guy was saying he was uncomfortable, and Ethan was like pushing it and saying shit. I know why you are. And he was basically making fun of him because he's gay. I swear to God, it's like so bad. Oh, there's a 7-minute compilation. Yeah, so shout outs to our great champion.
I didn't see those either.
Yeah, I haven't.
They came straight out of his journal.
He's so woke now all of a sudden. I love that for him. I hope he keeps that energy.
Yeah, I'm proud of him.
Showing a lot of growth.
Yeah, he has shown a lot of growth. This is good takes by Keemstar. I really like this new woke Keemstar. Hopefully this is a permanent change.
So first of all, it sounds like he is just angry and frustrated with the fact that he has to apologize. He's saying that his apology is heartfelt, but it sounds sarcastic, to be honest. Just sounds like he's apologizing because people actually unsubscribed and listened. Because if people just said, oh no, it's okay, then he wouldn't feel sorry. If there were only like the handful of people on the live show that had the issue that they had, and if the people afterwards did not unsubscribe and complain, then this would not be happening right now. He would not be apologizing. Using the Keemstar thing as like, oh my god, I'm homophobic, but Keemstar is more homophobic. It's like, imagine if I said, yeah, I'm gonna go and kill 5 people. At least that makes me better than Hitler, because he killed millions. Like, this is the same fucking logic. It's like, you're a bad person. Just because there are worse people than you on the internet doesn't mean you're a good person. No, actually, you know what? I don't like Keemstar, but he's right. The pushing and pushing of this guy feels like if you are, let's say you're a straight woman in a club, and the man is like, do you have a boyfriend? Or like flirting with you, and you tell him, I have a boyfriend. Can you please leave me alone? And he like continues to pressure you into being sexual with him. Like, this happens to us women all the time. This is the same fucking vibes. Obviously, I'm not saying Ethan is gay or interested in that man who was on the call. but it has the same vibes of a straight man who would do that, who would pressure a woman. Literally same vibes. Same like entitlement of society when you think that if you're the straight man, you're like the big boss.
But having said all that, you guys, and what I'm about to say now, having said all that, which I genuinely feel, and especially, you know, I was very insensitive to the caller, the whole pushing, the comment specifically where I was like, I could tell what you are based on your voice or whatever. Very, very gross and bad, okay? Like, I totally acknowledge that. And the whole bottom diaper thing, okay, I understand now. Like, what I said was offensive. But there are certain things I just got to be real about. I got to speak my mind on. Because as you guys know, the minute I stop speaking my mind and being genuine is when the show fucking dies, okay? Now, I've been forceful. I've been emphatic that, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I got semi-canceled for the Will Smith thing. I was emphatic that no matter what, I'm going to always speak my mind. I'm going to be true to myself. And I'm not going to let anybody or anyone kind of change course for what I think is right. And so there are some things about this that really rub me the wrong way.
How did you need LGBT friends of yours, if you even have any? I don't believe he has LGBT friends. How did you even need them to tell you that this was wrong? Like, if I were to say something like that, I would realize in the middle of myself saying it that it's wrong. It's very, very clearly wrong. Like, how does it take you hours or days to realize that you were wrong?
Let's start off, first of all, with what Dan said. Dan told everyone to fuck off and unsubscribe. I understand that made some of you guys angry. But I have to defend, first of all, a lot of people have been calling Dan a horrible homophobe, and that's just fucked. That's just outrageous. Anyone who watches the show knows that Dan's a good man, and I'm not going to fucking stand by and let people malign Dan like that. That's just fucking insane. I got to stand up for my boy here. You know, so much so that poor Dan just made a Twitter. How long ago was it? 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
You deleted Twitter, right?
I'm out.
You logged in today.
I mean, I was sort of harangued into making one anyways.
But you were enjoying it. You were tweeting.
I was enjoying it, but yeah.
Oh, this is so sad. Imagine being actually part of the LGBTQ plus community and you've been silenced for hundreds of fucking years, generations upon generations of people being silenced and being forced to marry and have babies and do all the like societal expectations of you, and now you're crying, oh no, people bullied me on Twitter. Fucking go private then, I don't care.
The thing is that I get very argumentative with people, and you know, and I do want to say I appreciate you saying that, Ethan. I do think that I did not articulate my thoughts very well the other day, and I apologize to everybody that, you know, I think a lot of people that I was not referring to thought I was referring to them.
Here's what I want to say, Dan, before you get too deep into that apology.
Okay, sure.
I do want to give you the chance to speak, but I just want to be fair to Dan because I'm going to say things that I don't think he'll say for himself. Every week, we get fucking canceled and called out for something that we're not good enough for. We're not woke enough. Be better. It's always, be better, do better. I feel like an abused fucking stepson sometimes, you know, trying to navigate this space. It's like, every week, be better. You got to do better. You got to be better. I'm doing my best here, guys. Like, y'all can't, I'm getting like woke whiplash. And it's like, last week, or with the Will Smith thing, or there was people like, well, sometimes the people take it too far, but this time it's right. This time it's serious, or last time is fucking serious. And it's like, you guys got to fucking like understand how intense it feels on this side when every week people are turning something we said into evidence that we are intolerant pieces of shit. You know, or it's always like, oh, the veil is down. I always knew they were racist, homophobes. Oh, we can't pretend now to be woke and all this shit.
The reason for that is that you dismiss criticisms. You are either responding to them with anger, like with the Will Smith situation, you are very angry at people criticizing you, Or with dismissal and laughter, like you are doing to do with like this James Charles situation, is like laughing about a guy who is calling to teach you. He's taking his time to teach you something, and you're laughing like, ha ha ha, you're a bottom. Of course, people will criticize you. If you do something problematic and you genuinely seem like you either didn't know, or maybe you knew that it's problematic but you didn't understand the extent of which this is problematic, if you actually do that and you get criticized, you should shut up, take the criticism, and then you make your decision if you follow it or not afterwards. But like, just be quiet, listen, and be respectful. It's literally not the hardest thing in the fucking world. I have such a small platform in comparison to Ethan, and I have received so much criticism. I have received criticism on my Instagram about the stuff that I post on my stories. I either address it publicly or address it privately with the person, or if I am caught spreading something that is fake news and I did not know that, because it happened a few times with the situation in Ukraine. It's a lot of developing things, a lot of like cogs in the machine that you don't know what's true and what isn't, so sometimes you'll end up posting fake news. And you should listen and promptly take it down. Like, that's the approach. In Ethan's case, it's like, if he just listened and then decided what to do later, take the criticism or like act like his authentic self, which seems to be homophobic, so he can act like that. The issue is when he pretends like he is the authority on what is good morals on the internet and he polices other people's behavior like he's better than them. When you make it your life purpose to police people on the internet, you need to have a relatively clean past. Now, I say when I set up to do commentary, I have decided that if there were things that I said that I don't like anymore, that I don't stand by anymore, if they were to come to light, I would either like not even wait for them to come to light and just address them myself, which I think I do sometimes, or I would address in earnest the fact that, you know, I'm from a different cultural background. There are a lot of things that I do not understand because they pertain to American PC culture, which I'm not from America, so I don't understand it all the time, but I try to learn and I ask questions and I try to listen. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to have good intentions. If you decide to be the internet vigilante, if you decide to be the fucking internet police, then you have to act like you at least have some morals. But you don't have morals, Ethan, that's the fucking problem. Is that you are masquerading as a good person. When you used to be full-on problematic, saying the N-word and the F-slur and all of this, you're full-on saying those things before, and you are owning up to being a horrible person. I genuinely feel like I respected that more than I respect this, because you are fake right now. You are pretending to be a good person. You're not a fucking good person. Just own up to being the fucking villain, like your enemy, Keemstar. This Keemstar knows that he's fucking asshole in real life, and he owns up to it. Like, I'm not saying I support Keemstar. I don't like either of them. But like, at least he's being actually authentic. You're not being authentic.
And Dan is fucking sick of that shit. And understandably, and we all are. So his snap judgment is like, you know, fuck you guys, just shut up. And, you know, people are calling me homophobic. Dan knows I'm not homophobic. Okay, he's standing up for me, which he's being a good friend and a good a supporter. So, you know, so I totally understand Dan's reaction to say, you know, just shut the fuck up and unsubscribe, which, you know, obviously he was heated at the moment. But
Too heated.
Too heated, okay. But understandably, you know, it's not. Sometimes it just doesn't feel reasonable with the woke whiplash we get.
This is not an apology unless you both apologize. Listen, the thing about, like I said, about Keemstar, he owns up being the fucking internet villain. And doesn't make me like him at all, but it does make me have some semblance of respect for a person who actually, you know, knows how they are and doesn't fake it on the internet just to get points from people who are woke. Like, as a socialist, I would much rather know where each person stands. Because Ethan is masquerading as being a leftist. He's not a leftist. Imagine you befriend someone under the impression that they are a leftist and that they believe in the same things you believe in and that they're part of your community. You want to make a better world and you think that they do as well, only to find out later that their morals are corrupt and that they are only lying to get subscribers and attention. I would much rather have to see 10 Keemstars because I know that his content is not for me. I know that he's a bad person, in my opinion. So I am just gonna choose not to watch him from the start. And it's much better than being misled like this, becoming a fan of someone only to find out that they have curated this image on purpose to draw in fans like you. And you wasted all your time, energy, money to buy merch and such for someone that you realize is a bad person.
And I understand, because, like, I'm sorry, but me and Dan both know we're not homophobic, okay? And I just refused that title. I do, outright, for both of us. It's just not the case. Go ahead, Dan, if you want to say anything.
Oh, I mean, yeah, again, I think that a lot of, well, so there's two main things that people were really mad at me for. One was what you're talking about, which, again, I think I overreacted. I don't know. It was just a mood thing. And like you said, it really wasn't even about that particular thing. But, I mean, anybody that frequents our subreddit or goes into the comment section of YouTube knows what you're talking about. And you know, it gets exhausting to just feel like you're...
Every week people are saying, you're not good enough.
People are gunning
Be better.
for you. Yeah, so...
Be better.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm trying.
Yeah, and I was trying to stand up for you a little bit. I am glad that you acknowledge, though, that, you know, especially the thing with the collar and pushing him when he had established a boundary, I didn't like that happened either. And I'm glad that you see that was too far and that you accept that. The other criticism that I have been getting, which is really the reason that I was like, you know what, fuck this whole Twitter thing, is that I, at one point during the show, was mocking the caller's lisp. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
That did not happen.
That did not happen. And if you're saying that happened, you are either dumb or just being disingenuous. I don't know what you're talking about. There was a moment...
People said you were mocking...
Yeah, there was a moment late in the show when we were talking about somebody had left I believe it was after somebody left a super chat telling us that we suck or whatever. And, you know, I think I did a voice that was more so just like a annoying whiner voice, you know, was sort of like I was mocking. And somehow people connected that to me mocking the caller's lisp, which the caller happened like 2 hours prior to that. So it's really a leap to think that I was referencing that. And that was really upsetting to me because I would never fucking do that. And, you know, again, that does not feel like people are being genuine. I don't know how you can watch that and make that conclusion. If it came across that way to people and you genuinely thought that's what I was doing, I apologize. That was not my intent by any means.
Well, part of my problem, Dan, is that people are making a lot of bad faith arguments that are just total bullshit.
Right. Yeah. No. So that has the overreacting and telling people to fuck off. You know, I accept that was over the line. The other stuff.
He was not mocking the guy's lisp. He was mocking a stereotypical gay voice. But okay, he likes to pretend like that didn't happen. I think people who are saying he was mocking a lisp are wrong, but I also think that what he's saying now is a lie.
I don't even know.
One thing that I didn't appreciate that a lot of people were saying about me is like, the only reason you felt comfortable asking him if he's a top or bottom is because he's gay. That's fucking bullshit. I ask everybody uncomfortable questions.
And that was
always.
That was the point that I articulated very poorly, I admit, but that this is what you get with Ethan, man. Like he pushes boundaries and he pushes buttons and it's not targeted.
Yeah, that was one of the top comments on that video too. Ethan is indiscriminate in who he pushes.
Exactly.
That's good.
And you can think that that's rude and over the line, and you might even be right.
But you can't.
Dude, don't think that it was targeted.
You cannot draw the conclusion from one thing that like, oh, well, I'm just targeting this man because he's gay. That's fucking bullshit. Okay? Anyone who watched this show, as that comment well stated, says that I'm indiscriminate with my inappropriate questions.
Yes.
That's how I fucking talk to people on this show. Yeah. I find it interesting to make people squirm a little bit or make uncomfortable or ask the questions that you shouldn't, right? In real life, I'm not like that. But on the show, when I'm trying to fucking entertain you, This is an entertainment show, by the way. I like to create these situations. I think they're interesting.
And oftentimes people love you for it, but you know, you're not perfect.
But there's people that aren't familiar with me or the show, and they see that, and then they make this whole grand fucking thesis about how I'm only comfortable doing that because he's gay, and that I'm sorry, but I reject. I have to I'm not gonna just sit there and let people say that shit, uncontested.
Yeah.
Creating situations where a gay person feels personally targeted is not entertainment. It's not. It's vile and disgusting. And you said you are not like that in real life. That's because you're a little fucking keyboard webcam warrior. You're not actually like this in real life. Like, I would love to see Ethan try to act like this with my fucking 2 meters tall boyfriend who is a martial artist. Like, I would genuinely love to see Ethan act like that. Outside of America, where you can have your big fucking gun and brag about it. You know, like in a normal country where we know that such things are not solutions. To just like shoot someone for no fucking reason. I would love to see Ethan like try that shit with us.
And I'm sorry to do this, but this was the like colossal bad take of colossal bad takes, in my opinion. Now this is Kat 10 Barge, who I don't have a problem with her, you know. She wrote the article about David Dobrik in the Insider. You know, she seems to be a good reporter in that regard, and I really have no problem with her. And I just don't understand how someone could actually think this. And I saw this echoed by a lot of people. Adam McIntyre, you know, a friend of the show, said, newest H3 podcast has so many homophobic undertones. Okay. That's fine, right? So, okay, you know, that's a fair statement. But then Kat goes, to purposefully and knowingly recruit a queer and gay fan base. So, first of all, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, what do you mean? I'm purposely and knowingly recruiting a queer. What am I what am I handing out flyers? Am I targeting ads to gay people? What the fuck are you talking about? That is just so insulting to me. Like, what the fuck? When have I ever knowingly recruited queer or gay fans? I just find that statement so foul. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's foul.
I don't understand what's foul about this statement. Are you saying that recruiting gay people to be in your fan base is a bad thing? Because I'm bisexual. Like, I would love to have people who are gay and watching my videos. Because I'm bisexual too. Like, I'm part of the same community. Of course, I would love that. I don't understand what's foul about it. You can say it's maybe a reach. Maybe it's exaggerated. But foul, it's not the word that I would use. Unless you think that being gay is something bad.
But then she continues, just to shit all over them and perpetuate horrific stereotypes about gay men is a choice. Now, you may not be, first of all, you may not like... A horrific stereotype about gay men, I think, is like that they're P-words or groomers, like shit you hear from real people right now today in Florida saying like, they're saying, oh, you can't talk about gay people in school because they're grooming your children. That's fucking horrific. Let's check our tone a little bit. What the fuck? Did I really perpetuate a horrific stereotype? I don't know. Like, if what I did was horrific, then what is it they're doing? Like, can we have some levels here?
Right.
We need some levels.
Yeah.
Am I let's say, okay, what I did was horrific, top, bottom stuff, whatever, a joke in poor taste. Genuinely, I would like to hear what Kat describes as like every mainstream conservative describing gay people as groomers. So what is that? We need some levels here. But okay, that's not even the problem. She says, perpetuate horrific stereotypes about gay men is a choice. So she's saying, I've gone out into the world, I have recruited queer and gay fan base, and then I put them in a room, and now I'm going, you're fucking the worst. So I'm taking them, and I'm beating them up. How can you watch the show if you think that about me? And this is what I'm saying. Some people, I think, are too sensitive to watch this show. So I'm trying my best. I'm always trying my best. And I hope you guys know that I always mean, well, I'm trying my best. But if you think that I'm this horrible, this is the worst shit. If this is who you think I am, how the fuck are you watching this show?
I'm not sensitive and I do not watch the show. I just want to say what I think Kat meant, and I'm not going to speak on her behalf because I don't know her. What I think she meant is that you gave the impression that your show is a safe place for queer people and for people of like different minority groups, because you always hold other people accountable when they do the same things that you do. It gives the impression that you are above them and that you care about these communities. So that's what she means, I think, by recruiting. She just means that you're giving them a safe space, only to then retract that.
To purposefully and knowingly recruit a queer and gay fan base just to shit all over them and perpetuate horrific stereotypes about gay men is a choice. So there you have it. I am choosing to... I'm sorry, but this is fucking insane thing to say. I'm sorry, but no. I just completely refute it. Without reservation. Just 100%. And I'm sorry, Kat, to put you on blast, but you know what? I saw this echoed, I read the comments, and I personally just found it a horrific accusation. And it's gross. It's just gross. And I don't even know what it means. I'm still baffled by what she means by purposefully and knowingly recruit a queer and gay fan base. What the fuck what does that mean? What have I done to recruit gay fans?
I don't know.
How do you even do that?
I don't know what that means, genuinely, either.
How?
I mean, we do have a significant fan base, but I don't. We didn't go out of our way to recruit them.
I'm happy they're here.
Yeah, we're very happy they're here, and I'm glad that they enjoy the show.
100%. I'm so happy. Listen, I don't want anyone to stop watching the show. Okay, and just make that very clear. And the people who were offended, who were able to continue watching the show, and to understand that we're doing our best here, and we mean well. That's fucking awesome. I love you guys.
If you say you don't want anyone to stop watching the show, why did you ask them to unsubscribe? I know that it was not Ethan, it was Dan, but Dan is your employee and you should put him in the fucking, keep you in line or whatever if you think that he's doing something wrong. That's your purpose, you're the boss there, right? So why the fuck did you not tell him to shut up and don't speak on my behalf or stuff like that?
But I don't know. I found this take to be just a little bit vile, to be honest. I don't know. But I have no problem with Kat, and I don't know why she's got to take it, got to go nuclear with it. But there you go. I mean, she's been on the show, friend of the show, apparently. Well, apparently, or was, I don't know.
I mean, she's a critic of this space, and that's what she specializes in. She writes on it. And certainly she's welcome to have her opinion and voice it, but
yeah, of course, but
yeah, I mean, in this case, I don't know. It just seemed, like you said,
well, it's like
didn't need to go nuke that hard with it. Seems a little overboard.
Well, it's like you said, she's a critic. This is her specialty, and so I feel the need to respond to such a strong accusation that had some steam to it. I'm sorry, but Kat, I don't know what to say. Painful. So there's that, I have some notes here. There's just a lot of stuff I want to talk about. And a little, and I don't want to. Part of me from this woke whiplash, I do feel like there's a little bit of the left eating themselves, because if Kat
that's
really,
what we're best at.
Yeah, I mean the left really eats itself.
That's a long running
and it's actually really painful to me, because if Kat thinks I'm that big of an enemy, we can never be allied. Can never be on the same team as her.
But we are not alike. You said you are a liberal. Liberals are not on the left. Liberals are on the progressive right. So no, the left is not eating itself. The left is weeding out the fake left. You know what I mean? We don't want to be associated with fake leftists, and that doesn't mean that we are eating ourselves or whatever the fuck. There's a lot of leftist infighting. I think it's a big stereotype that, leftist people, if you're a Marxist-Leninist, you will go and fight with a fucking Maoist, or if you're a anarcho-communist or whatever, like there are always like fights in between different types of leftists, and it's funny sometimes it goes too far, sometimes it's like ridiculous, but I don't think those fights are ever as strong as what we see here when it has to do with the left weeding out liberals and conservatives who are LARPing as leftists, because it happens.
And just going through these past couple months of like every week something happening, it's like, it really makes me understand how people like Tim Pool and Steven Crowder and Dave Rubin and all these fucking goons on the right that are just vile freaks that, you know, I despise on many levels. I understand how they exist and why so many people watch them. It's because they get tired of being called racist and homophobic. And they say, you know, screw this, I'm going to go hang out with these fucking guys. And it does radicalize them, because once you roll in that crew, it's hard to get out, right? It's hard to get out.
I think that those people were always spineless, and that's, you know.
But the audience, there is like a certain thing, like it'd be so easy for me now to be like, go on Tim Pool or whatever, because they always invite me on now whenever this shit happens. But like Ben Shapiro used to always try to get me to come on a show every time I got canceled, and then talk about how woke culture is the fucking ruining society. I never did. I always said, fuck you, you little bitch ass weasel, because he's a piece of shit, and I'm never gonna go that route, right?
Yeah, and no.
But it'd be so easy to go there and be like, you know what, blah blah blah, woke culture, this and that, and then you get new fans. You get a lot of new fans, and then all of a sudden, you know, you got to start catering to them, and you get sucked in. And once you go against them, because they're just as bad as like the ultra woke. They have the dogma that you don't fucking cross too.
Well, you're right, and then you wind up like Dave Rubin, where
exactly
Ben Shapiro is telling you to your face that he thinks you're evil for being a gay man, and that he would never come to your wedding. And
exactly, you end up like Dave Rubin,
and you nod along and be like, okay, well, I accept that.
I understand. You end up Dave Rubin, totally. And there was a path that could have taken me down to Tim Pool, Dave Rubin.
I think my issue is the fact that you put your own free speech above people's comfort, who have been discriminated and they deserve that comfort. Like, you are saying that, you know, some people are turning to the right because they are tired of being called racist and homophobes and stuff. By saying that, you are proving that the only reason why you call yourself a leftist is because you want validation from other leftists, and that when they no longer give it to you, when they no longer give you the fucking cookies, then you decide to go on the right. I think that despite what you get called, you should stand for what you believe in. And if you are a fucking coward, then that's on you. I get called anti-Semitic on the daily, I would say, because I support Palestine. I know that I'm not anti-Semitic. I used to fight it at first. It used to really, really get to me emotionally. But I realized these people can have their opinion, and it shouldn't change my integrity, and how I act should always stay authentic to myself. If some critics are enough to turn you to the right, then you were never on the left in the first place. I could have been tempted to be like, okay, you are calling me anti-Semitic, so I'm gonna act like it. But I was never actually going through with such a thing just because someone called me something. Like, I will admit, I had fleeting thoughts of like, I'm just gonna, you know, stop censoring myself to please people because they will take me the wrong way. And it was like, I've had these fleeting thoughts and I understand what he means. However, if you let these thoughts be anything more than thoughts, then you are not a good person in the first place. It's normal to question people around you. It's normal to have negative thoughts. It's normal to feel that you're not always grounded in your beliefs. But you should seek your inward validation, not outward validation from people. If you don't get the outward validation, but you know that you are a good person, then that's what matters. And I think Ethan genuinely knows that he's a bad person, he's a LARPer, he's fake in everything. He knows that. That's why he needs this outward validation to make him feel like, yeah, people believe me, even though I don't believe myself.
Sure. But I chose not to, and I never will. I never will, because I know in my heart that those guys are fucking reactionary pieces of shit, and I hate everything they stand for. It's against everything I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it, right? Because y'all, when you constantly calling people gay or homophobic and racist and shit, who mean well, maybe they're ignorant, maybe they're not like ultra woke, but they mean well, and they're definitely on your team. Like, let's be honest.
You do not mean well, and you're not on my team if you're not gonna listen to the callers who are telling you why you are wrong. And just like sit down, listen in fucking shame, and then you decide what to do. Don't laugh it off. Don't speak over people. It's not that hard. It genuinely doesn't feel like you are trying to learn anything by the way that you act with your callers.
Like me and Dan, we're on your fucking team. If you don't think me and Dan are on your team, you have no allies. There's nobody left to fight for you.
This motherfucker is really saying that him and Dan are the best allies. Like, with allies like you, who the fuck needs enemies?
If you think that me and Dan are actively again, there's like, okay, I understand. I can hold some like homophobic, like to say, oh, you think it's okay to make that joke? It's like, I get it. I won't do that again. I understand that it was offensive, but you this label of homophobic and racist. If you think me and Dan are not on your team, then there's nobody on your team. There really isn't. I'm sorry, but me and Dan are two very progressive dudes, very social conscious dudes. Dan more than me, who's been called a homophobe probably more time in his life than ever before. Is that right, Dan?
Probably the first time.
Yeah, first time.
Yeah.
And like, it's one thing to criticize someone, and it's another thing to like outcast them, to fucking exile them, which is what it feels like sometimes. I mean, we had people returning their Teddy Fresh because of the show. It's their choice. We give them a refund. I totally get it. But it's like, you don't want to be associated with me anymore? I'm that fucking nuclear to you? Okay.
I mean, it's a choice, but yeah,
it's a choice, and I say, and our policy is, we're very sorry, take your money back, and we do a full refund. We just are very polite and understanding. It's totally fine. I understand. I'm just saying that some of y'all think you're doing a good thing genuinely, but I actually think that a lot of what's going on is making things much, much worse.
So first of all, he's saying that if we don't have him as an ally, then we don't have allies. For one, I know that Ethan would not be my ally because I'm part Russian. So I already know by default that for him it's like, oh no, the evil Russians. So I don't care. I would rather fight for myself and fight for other people who are like me than have some straight people fight for us under conditions. The way that their allyship works is conditional. They are only your allies if you behave nicely and if you beg for it and if you treat them with respect. They are not your allies if you criticize them. They are not your allies if you ask for a certain type of allyship. They want to be your allies on their terms. And the Teddy Fresh thing, funny story. I actually bought a Teddy Fresh thing not from Teddy Fresh itself, from like an outlet brand, I think. And I didn't know there is their brand, and now I have it. I genuinely love the design. I didn't know it's fucking Ethan's brand. I'm so disappointed. I don't want to give it away or sell it because I genuinely like the t-shirt, but like, I don't want to walk around on the street and people are like, oh, you're a fan of H3H3, and I'll be like, no, of course not.
Not all of you, because I understand. That's why I apologize, right? Like, there's a genuine space for an apology and understanding and learning. Some people take it way too fucking far, and it makes it way, way worse. That's why I showed Kat's tweet. I think she's making things worse with takes like that. Like, I'm just sorry. I'm not choosing to recruit gay people for the specific purpose of offending them with horrific stereotypes. Horrific? That's a strong word, don't you think? Just saying.
It's a little hyperbolic.
Just saying.
It is very hyperbolic.
A little hyperbolic.
I mean, you gotta save words like horrific for shit that's horrific. You really do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Me making a offensive joke is not horrific. I'm sorry. I've seen way worse. I've seen way, way worse. Okay? Just being real. Just saying. You know.
The guy that called Palestinians terrorists before is talking about how exaggerations are hurting the world. Like, you call the kid throwing a stone a terrorist. Are you sure that you are in the position to talk about exaggerations?
Yeah, I'm glad you said, though, that, the Tim Pool, the reactionary, oh, I got canceled, so fuck all these people route is not in your heart. Because I think it's important to state that and let people know. And I mean, I feel the same way. No amount of people accusing me of being a homophobe will prevent me from advocating for their equality. You know
Me neither.
what I mean? Like,
But some people.
it sucks to hear.
Yeah, it's painful.
It's painful to hear, but I will fight just as hard for you as I did on Sunday as I will today. You know?
Of course. Of course. Me too. But I see the path, you know, where you're like, there's this group of people with open arms, like, one of us.
Right.
You're one of
Which,
us.
again, it's because, yeah, I mean,
White grievance, baby. Come get it.
I don't think they ever felt as strongly as they may have once claimed to, or whatever. Yeah, you know, like Tim Pool claimed, like,
They just-
I was a liberal for years, but
Dave Rubin.
they've driven Dave Rubin too. Yeah, both of them.
I used to be a liberal, and then people called me racist, and now I hate myself for being gay.
Right.
Bag of turd, you know, flaming turd bag.
But I'm just saying, white grievances, baby. It's all right here. Come ye straight white men. We take you with open arms. You are the real victim of society. Of course, I think that's absurd, right? But I'm just saying. You guys aren't, some of you, I'm not saying like all people who were upset or offended, obviously, but some of you guys make shit much, much worse by labeling people homophobic and racist who aren't. I'm not going to accept that title.
I would say yes, sometimes people will call everything homophobic or racist. Like how people call me supporting Palestinians anti-Semite. That's genuinely so exaggerated because I don't say shit about Jewish people and I still get called that. Like I don't even mention. I will make a post talking about something to do with Palestinian food or culture or something that has nothing to do with like Jews or Israel. And I will get attacked for being anti-Semitic. So I know that there are people like that. Or I know one time I got called a transphobic person because I didn't have pronouns in my bio, which I did not understand at the time that you need to put pronouns because my language is gendered, right? Like my English is not my first language. My language is all gendered. So for me, the gender neutral thing is like something I'm still trying to implement into my language in a capacity that I can do because it's very hard when I speak my first language, Romanian, to do that because it's a Latin-based language, so it's all like gendered. But I try in English when I can to use the correct pronouns for everybody. There are times when like maybe I'll get confused about something if the person doesn't explicitly say their pronouns. And I do get it wrong sometimes. I try my best to get it right. I correct myself. I apologize. I course correct. That's the thing is like there are people who are sometimes absurd. They will call you a bigot for making a mistake that maybe you're not aware of. That's true. However, with him, it's like he's been saying for months that he is learning and educating himself, but like I don't fucking see any education. Like if in months you manage to do nothing, no progress, then are you really educating yourself or just pretending like you are? If you read one infographic on Instagram, doesn't mean you're educating yourself. You need to actually talk to people and listen. That's the most important thing is you listen. You don't fucking go on Instagram and take that as the opinion of an entire community. Because it doesn't work like that. We are not a monolith. We think differently. We talk differently. You have to talk to a diverse cast of people to get an opinion that will be the most applicable in all the cases. You need to find the middle ground.
I agree that I have tendencies and stuff that I'm working on. You know, what kind of fucking relationship are you in where it's like every week you're not good enough? Every week you're not good enough. That's an abusive relationship. You're not good enough. Be better. You're not good enough. Be better. You're not good enough. Be better. I'm sorry, but I'm open to it. I'm doing my fucking best. But like at a certain point, it's fucking just, it's not healthy. It's fucked up.
And yeah, that was what I, again, very poorly was trying to articulate the other day, that, you know, if you find yourself watching the show and being upset,
every week,
after every episode, you turn it off and you're just like, you know, this is, my heart sank at everything he was saying, and you know, it's just so upsetting. Just step away. I mean, like I was trying to say, I mean, it just might, it's probably healthier for you to not watch something that upsets you on a weekly basis or almost on a daily basis.
No, you're not trying to say that. You're trying to say to people to get the fuck away. However, I will agree that, you know, sometimes if you see that something is toxic for you week after week after week and you feel bad, you should step away. But I'm keeping in mind that for some people it's hard because they have spent so many hours and they have spent money, like I said, on the merch, and this is time and money they will never get back. And so they continue to get invested in it because they want to continue with, what they have invested so far. They want it to have a worth. They don't want it to all be for nothing. And that is an understandable position to take. It's very hard. This is why people stay sometimes in toxic relationships, because they think, oh yeah, we've spent all this time trying to mend things. We've had all these good times. I don't want to leave because it feels like I've wasted all my time. And that's a valid opinion to have. It's sad that people feel that way, but it's valid.
And by the way, that's not to say we don't want you here. I would love for everybody to watch and for us all to grow and work through stuff as I try to mature and, buff out my rough edges, whatever, without changing my, fundamentally who I am, which makes this show good. Most people like. But, yeah, without saying like, hey, fuck you and you're the worst, which maybe that's how it came off. It's just like, there's probably different shows for you that you can watch and not get so upset. Just saying. Thank you.
Honestly, if you want a show to watch as a leftist, where you can actually learn things, watch the Deprogram podcast. It's on YouTube as well. Since he mentioned watching other shows, I want to give a shout out to a really good show.
Yeah, horrific. What's happening in Ukraine is horrific.
What's happening right here is horrific.
What's happening in Florida is horrific. What's happening with abortions in Texas is horrific.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Oklahoma just yesterday, right, the day after we talked about it at length, passed something that just pretty much outright bans abortion.
That's horrific.
Yeah.
What happened to that lady who had a stillborn in Texas? That's horrific.
Right.
What's happening in Palestine is horrific too, but you conveniently omit that because your wife is from the place that is occupying Palestine.
I don't think what I did was horrific. I don't. And I'm sorry if some of you all fucking want me to, cut my fucking wrists open for you and nail myself to the cross. But, I'm both sorry and trying to do better and also denying that what we fucking did was horrific. It just wasn't. It wasn't horrific. Okay? And I'm sick of fucking feeling bad every week like I goddamn strangled like I threw a bag of puppies in a river, or some people do, and that's horrific.
That is horrific.
People do that.
Why do they do that? That's not.
I don't know. Some people, they don't want the dogs litter. I've heard that they do that, and they stuff all the puppies in a bag and throw them in a river. It's fucking horrific, right? I'm not doing that.
It's pretty awful, yeah.
Look at these fucking freaks. I just wanted to show you guys this in case you all forget what actual homophobia looks like. And again, I'm not saying you can't care about two things at once, right? What I did do some things that were homophobic or a little ignorant, let's say. But this is fucking happening right now.
Grooming.
Look at this shit. This is horrific.
Groomer.
Grooming. Groomer.
Groomers.
Groomer in chief.
Grooming. Groomer. Groomer.
Grooming.
Groomers.
Grooming.
Groomers. Groomer.
Grooming.
Grooming. Groomer. Grooming. Grooming.
Groomers.
Grooming.
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 Groomer. Groomer. Grooming. Groomers. Grooming. Groomer.
Groomer.
Grooming.
Groomed. Groomers. Groomed.
Grooming.
Grooming.
Groomer. Grooming.
Groomer. Groomer. Grooming.
Grooming.
Groom.
Grooming.
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 Groomers.
Grooming.
Grooming. Groomer.
Groomers. Groom. Grooming.
Grooming. Groom is
Groomers.
grooming. Grooming.
Groom.
Grooming. Groomer.
Groomed.
Groomed.
The word groomer is starting to sound really weird.
Groomers.
Groomers.
Groom.
Groomer is
Groom.
Doesn't sound like a word anymore.
Grooming. Groom.
Pro-pedophile media fully backs this pro-grooming position.
Okay,
Grooming.
that's horrific. They're talking about the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida where you're not allowed to talk about that gay people exist because it's fucking grooming kids. That's horrific. These people are ghouls. These people are subhuman fucks. This is disgusting, yo. That's homophobia. Just saying. That's horrific. Right. And again, I'm not saying you can't care about two things at once, but if what I did was horrific, then what the fuck is this?
You're just saying that there can be a little bit more nuance than just 0 or 100.
Yes. Because I agree. I'm on your guys' side. This is fucking... This is so vile. It's just... I can't believe that there's a whole media machine trying to, in this year, 2022, categorize gay people as groomers. And isn't it fucking ironic that most of these people are like conservative Christians? You want to find groomers? All you got to do is look in your fucking back porch at the church, bitch. Like, start there. If you want fucking, I can't get over the fact that these people love to call gay people groomers, and then they go to church on Sunday and their fucking kids get molested by the priest. Like, fuck you.
So a few of the comments that I've seen are that Dan is trying to act like Hassan, which makes sense because Hassan is the one who fucking shouts at his audience all the time. And you know what? I watch Hassan sometimes, but I don't like his takes a lot of time, and it would be fine because I can respectfully disagree with someone, but the way he shouts at people, I can't fucking stand it, to be honest. It's so aggressive, especially when you're a woman and you're used to like men shouting at you. It's actually so triggering, like I'm not even joking. It's horrible, and I felt similar when there was that guy, Dave whatever, shouting at Tana. Tana is so unprofessional and so rude and deserves criticism, but the way that guy was shouting reminded me of my abusive ex-boyfriend, and it's not nice to be on the receiving end of that. Just hear it from your computer and like brings back all the memories of like the person who abused you. Obviously, internet people are not, they don't have to cater to people who have trigger warnings and stuff like that. Of course not, but it is just something worth saying that I agree that he's genuinely trying to imitate Hassan, but it just didn't work. This comment is very true. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing. Ethan and Dan are not gay. They don't get opinions about our existence. They are flat out wrong. Yeah, it's simple as. It shouldn't be that complicated. I'm gonna put on the screen what the caller in the previous clip, the one that Ethan was disrespectful to, said after all was said and done. I'm gonna put his opinion on the screen because after all the thing was directed at him, so it's for him to accept or not accept the apology. It's his choice, so just have a read through if you want. In regards to Ethan's apology, which I believe is fake, somebody said, "No, you don't always mean well. You didn't mean well when you kept asking someone an inappropriate question when they already said it was none of your business. You and Dan didn't mean well when you were calling someone a moron and yelling at viewers to shut the fuck up." Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a lie. People are also questioning why he takes callers because he doesn't let them speak, so I don't know what the point is. I'm curious why you even take callers. You clearly do not want to hear what they have to say or try to understand their perspective. Watching you talk to the past few callers, I'm just not sure what your intention even is. Maybe take a break with callers. Yeah, exactly, I agree. I will try to unlearn this, I will try to unlearn that. Meanwhile, while you try, your psychopathic fans think this is normal behavior. Don't just try, do, and tell your fans to do the same. You're a grown man, for fuck's sake. Act like one and take responsibility for the fan base you created. This is genuinely so true, because his fans are like I said before, they're acting like they're part of a cult. They always validate everything he has to say. The funniest thing is that Vosh, who is literally a fascist, who calls himself a leftist, said it is okay to be mean to bottoms. So you know that if Vosh agrees with you and gets 3k likes from your fan base, because I don't think they're all from Vosh's fan base, then you know you're a bad fucking person if the worst fucking leftist, quote unquote, he's not a real leftist, agrees with you. Let's get some queer and specifically trans representation on the show. To be honest, I love the podcast, but sometimes it's painfully apparent how straight and cis everyone is, unless I'm missing a secret bisexual. Wouldn't be the first time there's been cringe. I mean, I would like to see that on the podcast. However, I think if you want to see good LGBTQ plus representation, you should seek it out elsewhere, because I think it would not work. The person would just be there as a token and they would not be respected as a member of this crew, so I don't think that they would fit in, to be honest. Somebody said, "You are sorry you got called out. Your reaction on the pod made it clear you weren't sorry. I believe you just told people to shut the fuck up, unsubscribe. You might be too sensitive to watch this show. You may just want to stop watching." Yeah, exactly. If you are sorry later, then it just means you're sorry because you lost subscribers. It's always excuses with you. Once you know, you'll get backlash. Just gonna put this person's comment here because they said it perfectly. Ethan responds to the chat by saying that it's okay to ask if someone is a top or bottom because they get called in to talk about it. The person called in specifically to tell you that it is not appropriate to ask those types of things. You know, Ila would be uncomfortable if someone asked her invasive sex questions. Most people are like that. Just take the L on this one as a lesson, and please either listen to your LGBTQ fans or stop talking about things like that altogether. I know your intentions are not ignorant or hateful, but multiple people are telling you That's exactly how it's coming across. In my opinion, his intentions are bad, but I can understand and respect this point of view. Now, I saw this post calling H3 transphobic. I do not think that this post makes him transphobic. However, I just wanted to put it here because if you go on the post itself to read the comments, you will see exactly how vile and how much of a cult and echo chamber they are. Like, his fans are literally all dogpiling on this person, being vile, being transphobic and homophobic in the comments, even though maybe the accusation is not warranted. It doesn't mean you should behave like a fucking pig. Because of archaic views demonizing sexual preferences, people are more sensitive with edgy satirical comedy. People that are sensitive to homophobic jokes are justified because of today's archaic demonizations of their sexual preference, not the other way around. My first tweet was just an explanation. Ethan doesn't have a prejudice bone in his body. Hell, my brilliant, beautiful granddaughter is gay. My granddaughter and Ethan are very close. So this is Ethan's mom. I think the worst part of this is that she keeps calling sexual orientations sexual preferences. If it was a preference, I would promise you that most of us would not want it because it's only bringing us prejudice and oppression in society. So it's not a fucking preference because you don't fucking choose it. You don't go to the supermarket to buy apple or banana. It's not a fucking choice. You're born with it. It's part of your brain. I do gotta say though, Ethan saying Dan and him are the best allies we have and without them we have nothing was pretty fucking hilarious and cringy. Yeah, I would like to know if they ever even donated for an LGBTQ plus organization or did something to call themselves allies. Ethan conflating Kat's criticism to her going nuclear when you both gave fair criticism doesn't sit right with me. So this is to Adam McIntyre. They both said very similar things, obviously. So I think it's only because Kat is a woman, to be honest. Other than the post which Ethan read about Kat, she also said, I also listened to the post-Oscars episode that perpetuated horrible anti-black stereotypes too. If other creators were saying these things, they would be getting called out, just like H3 is getting called out now. It's not cherry-picking or nitpicking like some fans think it is. I think he's not getting called out enough because of how cult-like his fans are, to be honest. It was very illuminating. The past few episodes have really run the gamut. I don't get it. I covered the November 30 Fresh pop-up. The fans are extremely diverse. I'm gay. I don't feel good about it all. It feels horrible. I feel bad for all the fans who have felt hurt. This is the worst thing. Is like I've seen H3 fans dogpiling on her and saying that she is not gay and she doesn't speak for the community when she is obviously, she said she's gay. So why would you not believe it? Non-gay people speaking over me about gay issues because they don't realize I'm gay, because they only recognize the stereotypes about gay people. Yeah, it's like legit, if you're not a butch with like 5 million tattoos and wearing flannels as a woman, and if you're not a super flamboyant feminine guy, then you're not gay according to these people. Apparently something happened with Kat and Ela, but I don't know much about it. I might investigate it in a future video if you're interested in it. People are getting banned from the subreddit of H3H3 because of criticizing. They banned me yesterday for either having a conversation where I was explaining how it affects the LGBTQ or for a comment on a post about mods silencing people. Haha, ironic. Yeah, so it is ironic when you get told, you know, that you're being silenced and then you get silenced even more. Love that the group of guys who are supposed to be open to free speech, criticism, feedback, debate, etc. can't handle a little heat and disagreement. I rarely comment, and the one day I do, I get banned from their dying sub. Ironic. Love to have a civil conversation. Yeah, it's not possible to have conversations with people like this. And this is how Zionists operate, to be honest. I might one day on my political channel do a video about how Zionists operate on like their mass attempts at censorship and cancellations of people, because it's insane. They try to cancel everybody that they don't agree with, and they do it en masse. So if you look at the petition through with Loki, the UK rapper, he's Iraqi and he supports Palestine, and if you look at what Zionist lobbies are trying to do against him, it's crazy as fuck. Like, it's genuinely, go and sign it. If this petition is still up by the time I post the video, please go sign it, because it's crazy how they're trying to censor everybody who doesn't agree with them. And Ethan is literally in this playbook of like acting like a typical fucking Zionist. Anyways, this has been today's video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, thumbs up to the video, comment down below, subscribe to my channel for more, and let me know if you want that video about investigating Ela's controversies individually, because I think that would be cool, pretty interesting. Bye!
Ever since the day that you